everyone, so I am back with another book review this week, and this is a kind of a special book review. About a month and a half ago, last month, Grace from Loving Dem Books, she is a booktuber, she reached out to me and asked if I would like to participate in Booktube Tours. And Booktube Tours is where you know, new authors will send, oh, they won't send it, but their books will be sent to booktubers like myself to read and review before the books are published. So I was like super excited to receive this email, and I immediately was like, yeah, I am so down to be a host for Booktube Tours. I will put links and all that good stuff down below if you want to, if you are a booktuber and you want to like, be a part of it or whatever. I will link everything down below. Oh, and also the cool thing about this is that even though I'm being sent a book to review, I get to express my own opinion. I get to tell you if I liked it, if I loved it, if I hated it, and that's cool, because sometimes you can't really trust some booktubers if they're like, look at this book that was sent to me, but I get to just talk about all my feels and all my stuff that I felt reading this book. And yeah, before I start, I'm giving this book a solid 4 out of 5 stars. I'm going to go into all of the details in this review, but yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I was very happy with the story and the characters, and yeah. Alright, so the book, onto the book that I got is called Deception Island by Brynn Kelly, and this is what it looks like. I was immediately like, whoa, this is a cool cover. I like the island. I'm getting a real Pirates of the Caribbean feel. So this book is about a quick little synopsis before I continue on. So this book, the main character is a woman. Her name is Holly, but there's really 2 main characters in this book, Holly and Raph. So Holly, she, in the beginning of the book, she is on a boat, and there is a United States senator who is running for president, and he has a daughter that is about the same age as her, and she and the senator's daughter wants to go exploring and like sail the world, and like he doesn't really want her to do that, so they hire Holly to basically like play the role of the senator's daughter, and just to like for people to look at, so that like she as a decoy is what she is. So the other character, Raphael, he is French, and he is also like a military man. So his son was kidnapped, and the thing with him is they're like, okay, well, if you want to get your son back, you need to go and kidnap this woman and like bring her to this island, and you know, we'll give you directions from there, so that they can like get a ransom for her, because the senator like obviously has money. So then that happens, and within the first 20 pages of the book, she's kidnapped. He takes her to this island, Deception Island. They even say it's some part in the book, which I thought was funny. Anyway, so they get onto this island, and it's funny because this whole book takes over a period of time of like, it's like 3 days. It's like 2 or 3 days, which is crazy. So they get to this island, and Raph, he's like, oh yeah, my name's Jack, so he doesn't tell her right away. But Holly, she, you know, for as long as she can, is trying to be Laura, which is the senator's daughter's name. She's afraid that if she reveals who she is, that he's gonna be like, well, I don't need you, I'll just kill you right away. So she's trying to play this Laura character person for as long as she can, because she doesn't know what this guy is capable of. She doesn't know what he's gonna do to her if he finds out. So it's just like a cat and mouse game between the 2 of them for like a day and a half. So as for the characters, I really liked both of these characters. And within one book, they like they had a lot of layers to them. Holly, she was an ex-con. She had just gone out of prison when they had like not recruited her, but when they asked her and paid her to be Laura on a boat for 3 months. And Raph, he was like a child soldier when he was a child, and so he has a lot of demons that he's like constantly fighting within himself, and like his source of light and happiness and hope is his son. So like he's very it's a very good thing that he has his son, or else he would have like gone off the edge a long time ago. And so for about a day and a half, it's basically, like I said, Holly and Raph, or to each other they're Jack and Laura, but it's really Holly and Raph, and they're kind of playing like a cat and mouse game. She's trying to get into his head, and he's trying to just like get through the day, and she's basically trying to survive. But like they kind of there's this attraction between the 2 of them, because they're both like they don't have anybody really, and they both are fighting a lot of the same demons, and so like there's this initial attraction between the two. And besides the fact that they're both like super attractive as they're described in the book, but they feel a kind of connection besides the physical level of the two of them, and so that like blooms throughout the entire book. It's really funny because I was constantly thinking of Amber Heard as Holly, and Joe, oh god, I don't know how to say his, you know, Joe, the big guy from Magic Mike, the Sofia Vergara's husband. I kept imagining them two as Holly and Raph, and I just thought that was funny that I was thinking of them as the characters. But yeah, so the day and a half passes, and then stuff starts getting crazy. There's like these pirates that come onto the island, and what's it called? Holly, she actually gets kidnapped again. Holly, I really liked her character because she was very strong, and she was actually really funny. Like, she was very, not sarcastic, but just like some of the internal, like, the things that she thought, because this book was like kind of two perspectives. It was in third person, but it would go from like her perspective and then his perspective. So I really liked that kind of change. Yeah, so Holly, she gets kidnapped again from her kidnapper, and she is taken onto a boat with the man that made Raph go and kidnap Holly in the first place is on there, and they have a very like difficult past because they were both, Raph and Gabriel was their names, and they were child soldiers together. And so Gabriel has it out for Raph because Raph left him, because Raph thought that Gabriel was dead. So there's just a lot of bad blood between Gabriel and Raph, besides even before Gabriel kidnapped Raph's son. It's crazy because Holly gets taken onto this boat where all these men are, and it turns out that this boat also is carrying a lot of there's human trafficking. So there's a lot of it was Cambodian women on the boat. So she kind of befriends this one woman, Amina was her name, and it turns out that she was working for some charity to help against human trafficking. And so Holly actually has an iPhone on her, and so what Amina does is she takes a picture of herself and sends it to, it was her sister, so that it becomes viral like within the day. And it was so sad because after that happens, then Gabriel, he comes into the room with all the women, and he's like, who sent out this picture? And they find out who it is. Holly kind of tries to defend her, and so Gabriel ends up being the one to like slit Amina's throat in front of Holly, and then also in front of Theo, which is Raph's little boy. He's 9 years old. And so that was a very like hard scene to read because it was really sad. So after that, it's a very fast-paced like read from then on, because Holly is, you know, trying to escape. Raph is trying to get to her because he's trying to get to the island where Holly and his son is. By the time that they're kind of reunited, Holly runs into Raph in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the jungle, whatever, of this island, and so they kind of like fight side by side to get Theo back. So the last about 50 pages or so is when like everything starts going down. And so it turns out they catch Raph and Holly, and so it's like a scene out of a movie where they're like sitting in before they're the villain of the story. And so Gabriel is like talking down to them and is like trying to make Holly want to betray Raph by telling her all of the bad things that he's done in the past when they were child soldiers and all that bad stuff. And then it turns out that Gabriel and Raph are brothers, that they didn't know this when they were young, and their parents are dead. Their sister, they had a sister, but she was taken away to rape camps, and so they don't know if she's alive or dead. And so Gabriel just has a lot of resentment towards Raph, and Raph just like, he felt so bad. So that's like a whole struggle with them. And so like Gabriel is talking to Raph and Holly, and Theo is inside of a look at my phone inside of a building, and like he is like, yeah, if you try and kill me, then they have instruction to kill your son, so you can't kill me. Stuff goes down, and then they finally Holly kind of thinks that Raph is gonna kill her, but he has like a plan in his head the whole time. I thought he had a plan the entire time, and it turns out he did. I watched way too many movies. At one point they're in a helicopter, and Raph finally has his son in his arms, and Holly is over to the side of the helicopter, and she's like strapped down, like everything is strapped down, and this whole time she's had a knife on her, in her pocket. And so she's able to like get free, and so they do this thing where they like knock out the the other guys, and then they like stab Gabriel or something. They do a bunch of crazy stuff to the people that are holding them. So they finally like jump out of the helicopter and they're in the water, and then one of the last scenes of the book is like they're on a beach, and Raph and Holly are kind of just like talking about their relationship at this point. Like Gabriel died I think Raph might have shot, I don't know if I read that correctly, but Gabriel is dead at this point. And so Holly and Raphael are talking about like, okay, well, can I trust you? I can trust you, right? Like, I love you, and this and that. And this all happens within the last 50 pages of the book. That was one thing that I really, this book is a standalone. There aren't, or I don't believe there's going to be anymore. But it didn't really feel insta-levy. Like, there was an attraction. There was like a physical attraction in the beginning, because she was like, really, how am I attracted to my kidnapper? Like some creepy, like, Stockholm syndrome. She's like, snap out of it. That was one thing that I really liked about her. Like, she noticed these things, but then she like talked herself out of it. So she was really smart, and I really liked that about her character. Yeah, like I was saying, it didn't really feel like insta-love, because they would like start to like get somewhere, but then they would stop it, or Raph would stop it. And so they didn't really like admit their true feelings to each other until the end of the book. So it was kind of just stuff like leading up to that point. So again, it didn't really feel like insta love, even though like this took over a period of 3 days. But over those 3 days, they kind of went through a lot. She got kidnapped. She like got kidnapped again, and she was almost died a few times. And like, they went through a lot in these like 72 hours. But yeah, it took me about 3 days to read this book. I thought it was it was fast paced. There wasn't a lot of like time to just do nothing. Whenever they were doing nothing on the island, it was just interesting because it was like character development within the characters. So they were talking and you were just learning more about them. So no part of this book was boring or slow, really. Yeah, I've seen other reviews where they're like, oh, the middle part is slow. And I'm like, well, like, it's slow, but it's not like a bad slow. Whenever I read something about, oh, it was slow, it's usually because that's when there's character development happening, and that's when we're learning about the characters. And that's honestly like some of my favorite parts of books, besides like the crazy climax action scene at the end, is when you're learning about the characters, because then you can like, I don't know, love them more, relate to them more, or something. And there's basically a happy ending at the end, which I was really happy for. So I feel like they're gonna like, in the future, get married and have a family, or continue on with the family with Theo. And it's just, I'm really happy for all of these characters. They found a happy ending and they really deserved it too. Holly is not a bad person. She was in prison for about 6 years because she got into some bad stuff. And Raph, he was obviously a very good person too. I'm always a sucker for those kinds of characters where it's like, they're like kind of self-loathing because they've had to do stuff when you know that they're really good people. And those are always like my favorite kinds of characters. And so I really enjoyed reading these two because they were both like that. It wasn't just the guy or it wasn't just the girl. They were both like that. So it was a very nice read for me. So yeah, like I said, a solid 4 out of 5 stars. I am going to look for future books from this author. I'm going to see if she has any more, because I really liked the characters that she comes up with and all that good stuff. So yes, that was my book review. Please leave any comments down below. From me to you, I would definitely recommend this book. It's only about like 300 pages, and it's like I said, it's very fast paced. The characters are honestly really great, and so yeah, definitely would recommend that when it comes out in when it comes out June. It comes out tomorrow is June. Yeah, that was my book review. If you are just watching me and want to talk about this book, please leave a comment down below. And also if you are another host for this book and you would like to talk, that would be awesome too. Please leave a comment down below. I'm gonna look out for other of you all who read this book too. Thank you all so much for watching again, and I will see you in my next video, which will probably be next week because I kind of have a packed schedule this week. So next week I shall see you again. Okay, bye.